Alright, hey guys, it's Paul from Team APS. I'm on deck check today. As you guys probably know, I was playing in a remote duel tournament today, which was a lot of fun. Konami invited me to do it, and it was a good time. Remote dueling isn't so bad. It's a little bit tedious. It's set up, and it has a few quirks, but nothing, nothing too bad. Anyway, I'm playing Gren Maju, and I also got this cool stuff from Konami. I figured I should show you guys real quick. Hopefully you can see some poker chips and some dice that are apparently worth something. I don't know. I'll keep them though. I don't want to sell them. And this play pause card. If we had lag or whatever, we were supposed to flip it over and indicate that there's an issue. But anyways, yeah. So I was playing Gren Maju. This is a deck that I'm kind of familiar with, so that's why I went with it. I only had like a week or so to prepare for this, and I just, instead of trying to learn some deck, I just figured I'll play something that breaks boards. So, I've got, of course, the triple Gren Maju. Let me make sure this is in a good spot in the frame. Okay, yeah, triple Gren Maju. So it gains 400 attack for all your banished cards. As you guys know, your goal is to kind of punch in for a lot of damage with this thing, but I wouldn't actually call it the win condition of the deck. You're trying to like bait out negates and stuff, and then maybe summon this and swing, but there are plenty of games you'll win without seeing it, so. Eater of Millions, kind of Gren Maju's like evil cousin. You banish 5 cards face down, and then you get to summon it. It gets 100 attack for all the face down banished cards. A couple of fun facts about this: he actually can't be super polyed because he can't be fusion material. He can banish stuff. He's not a once per turn to summon. He's not a once per turn to use his effect. He sets up Gren Maju really well, so this is just a good card for dealing with problems, and it baits stuff from your opponent, which again is what you're trying to do before you actually summon Gren Maju. Triple Gizmek, in my opinion, probably the best like monster here. So you can banish 8 cards to summon it. That's a quick effect, which is convenient for a lot of reasons. It means you can actually use this in your opponent's turn, even if you're going second, you usually are. If you draw this, you can use this in your opponent's end phase or something just to like get a monster out on the board. You could use it maybe before they set up negation, so that way it can already be out. It can protect you from attacks. It can pop cards. It's just altogether really good. Oh, it's level 8. There's plenty of reasons why it's good. Triple Danger Bigfoot and Triple Danger Thunderbird. So this is all of the danger engine that I'm running. I know some people like to run a little bit more danger stuff with this deck, but this was all I really felt like using. I mean, you guys kind of know how this works. What I like about dangers is they're pretty free to activate, and they pop things. You know, your opponent won't really want to negate it, but sometimes they'll feel pressured to. They're really great if you discard them with trade-in. They're really great for making rank 8s, and it's just all together a good time. It draws you cards and all that stuff. Next is double Hextrude and also double Glyph the Phantom Bird. So this is the castle part of this deck. I think when I ran this before, I was running this a little bit, like I think I ran like 3 Glyph and 2 or 3 Hextrude, but I cut them down to 2 and 2 because these things can be a little bricky sometimes, especially her. You can pitch her with trade-in, but you know. Anyway, Glyph just searches. It can pop a spell or trap. It's not that important, but Hextrude is more important. So if Golden Castle's in the field, you can summon it without tributing. Also, you could just summon it from the deck with Golden Castle. You get to pop a card in the field. It can make 2 attacks on monsters. When it attacks, you gain 400. This thing just does a lot of things. Like, honestly, you summon it. Your opponent's very pressured because it will start getting rid of cards, and so they just have to answer it rather quickly. And then once you've done all the stuff with her, you can overlay her into other things. So, a good time. A new addition to this deck that I actually wasn't running before, Triple Dimension Shifter. It banishes things. This is pretty good, whether you're going first or second. If you go first, you can just activate it. If you go second, of course, you can activate it. It makes everything get banished. This can actually halt entire turns. You can just sort of use it, and then they won't combo that turn because they can't really do that. So it's nice. If you draw it later, it's dead, but you can banish it for something like Eater of Millions from your hand, or, you know, pitch it for Super Poly, I don't know. Next, we've got Kaijus. I ran this specific loadout because they're all level 8, and I also run Slumber, so I wanted to have a nice variety. Otherwise, I probably would have just done like 3 Gameciel. So yeah, these take things. You just take whatever the threat is, and then you start swinging over it. Pancratops, unfortunately, at 1. I liked when this card was at multiples, but it is pretty strong, so maybe that was for the best. Alright, so that's all for the monsters. Next, the spells. Triple Desires. This card is more than just draw power in this deck because you're banishing 10, so you're actually powering up Gren Maju and Eater of Millions. So that's nice. Even if they ash it, it doesn't always feel like the end of the world. And if they don't ash it, then Great. Golden Castle. So this is the card that usually makes a lot of people lose against this deck because they don't read it. You get to summon a monster that lists Golden Castle in it from your deck, and you can't normal summon that turn. So if you do use this, you can't usually summon Gren Maju unless you have like Monster Reborn or something. But anyways, I'll typically get Hextrude and start popping stuff. Sometimes people make the mistake of activating maybe Cosmic Cyclone or something on this when it's activated. It's not good. You gotta wait until you use its effect. Otherwise, I could like play another one, or I could normal summon that turn. But the really scary part about this is that anytime an opponent's monster declares an attack, it destroys the attacking monster and inflicts damage to your opponent equal to half that monster's attack. That's pretty scary because it's not a hard once per turn or anything. So people will attack with stuff and then it'll just die and they'll be mad, but like that's how the card works. And they'll attack with the next thing thinking, oh, okay, it's done its once per turn thing. No, it's not once per turn. So yeah, you want to search this, you want to activate this. You have to banish 10 cards to keep it on the field. That's a good thing. Don't worry. It powers up Gren Maju. It powers up Eater of Millions. And you'll never... A common misconception I hear people say about this card is that like it'll kill you. But it won't, because if you can't banish 10, it just gets destroyed. So you'll never... So if you have 9 cards left in the deck, this will just go and you'll still have several more turns to play. So yeah, this doesn't kill you. Okay, Super Poly. This card actually kind of sucks. I'm not gonna lie. Like, last year, this card was great. It made Orcus almost free for this deck, I would say. Not the case anymore. There aren't really that many great things that you can use Super Poly on that are relevant in the metagame today. The best you can typically hope for is like Mud Dragon by just getting maybe an Eldritch and a something, you know what I mean, like that, something like that, like 2 light monsters, different types or whatever. But if I had to do it again, I might even just side deck this or take it out altogether. But it is fun to have an interaction with the opponent that they just straight up cannot react to. Sorry if my voice sounds a little gone. I've been sitting around dueling all day. Yeah, so 3 Super Poly. 2 Interrupted Kaiju Slumber. I would definitely take this out. This is just something I threw in because I felt like, well, I have Kaijus and this could maybe bait a negation. I didn't really see it very much. And most of the time, just destroying cards doesn't exactly cut it these days. So yeah, anyways, 3 trade-ins. Got lots of level 8s in this deck. If you pitch a Danger, then you're really winning. If you pitch a Gizmek, it's also quite nice. Yeah, just trade-in's nice, and sometimes people they'll like try to do something to it or whatever. It's not too big of a deal. Some 1-ofs, Foolish Burial, pitches Gizmek. Sometimes you can pitch Gren Maju and Monster Reborn it. Mind Control is just to bait out stuff. It's never really going to resolve. But if it does, pretty cool. And then Monster Reborn to bring back things and swing for game. And I don't actually run any traps. I think in hindsight, it might have been good to maybe run like Red Reboot or something, because people like to use Imperm on Gren Maju. That would have been great. Okay, let's see. Extra deck. So first I'll go through the fusions. Starving Venom. I did actually summon this today. I don't remember against what, but it's just 2 dark monsters. I didn't run Trophy over them because I didn't think I'd ever have access to 3 dark monsters, and it wasn't going to be worth it. Mud Dragon of the Swamp. I actually ran 2 of this because it's kind of the most relevant Super Poly target right now. It's a bit of a shame. Although, this came in handy one time against, I think his name is Asala, and I changed Mud Dragon to water so I could Super Poly with his Eldritch guy. So that was kind of nice. Dragos Tapilia is a fusion and a dark. This can actually come up against stuff like Winda every now and again, Mechaba, you know, so not so bad. And then I ran 2 Elder Entity Intis, or something, however you say this. This was actually for if my opponent used Dogmatica Maximus, because it makes you send stuff, so I was like, okay, I can just send these and pop some cards, bait some negations. Didn't happen, but, you know, that's the idea. Next, I've got a couple of Xyz monsters. So this deck can make rank 8s. There's Dengirsu, who didn't really show up. There's Sanafon the Sky Prison. This can actually shut out graveyard stuff entirely. So that's nice, though it wasn't relevant right now. Not in this tournament, and really not even in this format very much. And kind of the really fun combo that I got to do on stream is number 97 Draglubion, and then Numeron Dragon and Hope Harbinger. So for those, I mean, most people know how this goes, but you summon this, you detach a material, and you get to pick 2 dragon-type number monsters in your extra deck. Summon one and put the other as its material. So you can summon Hope Harbinger and give it a material, and that's nice, I guess, and it can like negate spells and things. Or you can summon Numeron Dragon and use its effect to give itself 9,000 attack. I actually one-shotted somebody with this off-stream, but I did summon it on-stream. I one-shot somebody with this. I just attacked a Union carrier because Numeron was 9,000, and boom. Also, Drag Lubion cannot be targeted, so they can't use things like Infinite Impermanence to deal with it. So that's always kind of nice. People think they're saving their cards, but they're not. And Link monsters that I didn't really end up making. Boral Sword, Topologic Zero Boros. This can be relevant in my testing. It sort of was, but it didn't come up. Blackluster Soldier Chaos is nice because you do run a lot of high-level stuff, so if you summon this, it can be pretty tough for a lot of control decks to deal with this. Maybe Altergeist or Sky Strikers, they can't target it. It can start to be a little annoying. And Nightmare Phoenix was just kind of there in case. And then finally, I'll go through the side really fast. So, triple Nibiru for like Adamancipators or something, I don't know. Decks that summon a lot. The Warrior deck, it also summons a lot. A single Lava Golem, because I kind of didn't know what else to put. This, going in hindsight, probably could have been like a red reboot or something, I don't know. Triple Lightning Storm and triple Cosmic Cyclone, mostly for back row. You don't really expect Lightning Storm to actually kill your opponent's monsters. It can be a good bait, but people summon stuff in defense, so it doesn't happen very much. Cyclone's pretty nice. I hit like a Cursed Eldland once. That was it. Alright, triple Tactics Talent. This is something I just put in on a whim. It actually worked out for me one time. I got to draw 2 cards and my opponent let me, so it was nice. If you're going second, you're facing a board full of negates and you have bait and stuff, then you can make them use an effect on one thing, then activate this, and you get to draw. Or maybe they'll negate this too. If they negate it too, then it's a 1-for-1, so not the worst thing. And then there can be only one, which I didn't actually get to use. Every time I had said it or whatever, it got like Twin Twisted or hit a Lightning Storm, something like that. Pretty good though, because if you do resolve this or whatever, you can shut Warriors down. You can shut mini decks down, honestly. But yeah, so a quick tournament report. Round 1, I played against Isala. He used I think like an Eldritch Dogmatica thing. And that was pretty fun. I ended up winning, but it was very close. Round 2, I played against Sam's Dinosaurs. I lost to Sam, but shout out to Sam. He actually went undefeated, so I'm going to wish him good luck for tomorrow or whenever you guys are watching this. I don't know. Then I played Tombox or MST TV. He played Adamancipators. Pretty close. I won game 3, though, because he used a Cosmic Cyclone kind of early on Golden Castle, and then I got to normal summon Gren Maju and swing with that. And then round 4, I played against Jesse Cotton, who was playing what seemed to be kind of an Eldritch Dogmatica thing, which is a pretty rough matchup for this deck. So I feel like I kind of got lucky round 1, but normally traps can put this deck under pretty fast. So yeah, that was it. Final thoughts on remote duels. It was fun. Thanks to Konami for inviting me. Had a good time. You guys should try it if you have the supplies and stuff for it. It can be a little bit tough to set up. And there's some hiccups just with like card placement and lag and other things, but overall a pretty good time. Overall a pretty good deck. Thanks to everybody who was rooting for me. I do appreciate it. This is one of my favorite decks. It's nice and comfortable and easy. So yeah, you should build it if you have the cards. Alright, that's gonna be it. I'll see you guys in the next one. Pass turn.